Oh, Carnage, is there anything you won't try to murder? What's up guys, Sean from the Nerd Lair here, thanks for tuning into this video. For as long as I can remember, Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero, mainly the villains in Spider-Man or the anti-heroes like Venom or Carnage. Any of the symbiotes always fascinated me. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a huge big comic book fan. I do like Spider-Man and a few other Marvel superheroes, but my knowledge of the lore, I guess you could say, is very surface level. I know just about enough to appreciate the symbiote characters in that universe, Venom being my favorite of all of them. And a close second would probably have to be Carnage because he's this murderous psychopathic serial killer. Now add what the symbiote brings to a person when it attaches itself to them and you have a very good supervillain. So I decided I wanted to do a comic book video game review because I haven't done one yet on this channel. And the one that I've chosen to cover in this video, and it's one that I used to play a lot as a kid, is Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis.
I got you for 3 minutes!
Fuck! This game is a lot harder than I remember as a kid. Maybe I'm just getting old. If only I had the real Spider-Man here to help me. Wait a minute. I'm actually best friends with the original Spider-Man. He could do this. Yeah. Gosh.
Hello? Yeah, hold on one second.
Spider-Man!
This is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, thank God, Spider-Man, you're here to help me. Listen, I've been playing Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis. This game is too hard. I need you to come over here and beat it for me.
Oh God, no. I mean, I'm a little busy. Have you tried to maybe use like a game genie? Like something attainable?
Game Genie?
Hello? Nerd Lair? Are you there? Oh man. Something ain't right with that guy. Oh jeez.
Spider-Man!
Of course, the Game Genie! The answer was here all along. And I don't really feel bad about cheating either because this game is really difficult, especially because it's only one player, and you only get one continue. Fuck that. There's really only one code that I care about, and that one is to give me infinite lives. That way I can get through the entire game and not have to worry about starting all the way over from the beginning. And with that being said, let's get this bitch going! Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage is a video game adaptation of the 14-part story arc comic series of the same name, where Carnage breaks out of an insane asylum that was keeping him prisoner. The murderous symbiote is now wreaking havoc in multiple cities, and it's up to Spider-Man and Venom to team up and stop the carnage. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest, I really don't like beat-em-ups all that much. Not the game genre, the YouTuber. Now, as far as the game is concerned, this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you play as either Spider-Man or Venom. Depending on who you pick will determine different routes that you'll be able to take within the game. Sadly, Maximum Carnage is a single-player game. It would only become a co-op game a year later with the sequel, Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety. You could put these two games side by side and they're more or less clones with a different plot, and one of them is two-player and the other is single-player. Maximum Carnage was ahead of its time in my opinion in 1994. The graphics are decent, but the music for this game is just rocking. And in between levels, you get these stylized comic book panel-like cutscenes that make you feel like you're playing an interactive comic book that any comic book fan would appreciate. For a beat-em-up game in the 90s, there is quite a bit of variety in the combat system. You have your standard punching and kicking, but you're also able to climb on walls, lift environmental objects to throw them, shoot webs to swing around the level, block projectile attacks with a web shield, and even perform supercharged attacks that will deal more damage to enemies around you but do a small amount of damage to you. Hell, you can even shoot 2 webs out at once if there's enemies on either side of you, pull them, and the enemies will smack together like 2 sacks of meat. The problem I have with this game is the difficulty. There's no saves, no passwords unless you're using a Game Genie, and there's only 1 continue, which is pretty bullshit, but it's kind of common for a game of this era. But unless you're a complete masochist, you're just gonna cheat and use the Game Genie like I did. And I'm sure there's gonna be that one asshole in the comments who thinks this is the easiest game that's ever been programmed, and to you, good sir, I kindly say,
Cunt.
Now there is one thing that does help with the difficulty, and that's the heroes that you can summon. Throughout most of the levels, you can find hidden hero icons that you can use to summon heroes to help you fight. And each hero has their own unique ability that does massive damage, but fun fact, I didn't use one single hero summon throughout the entire first playthrough of this game, mainly because the game doesn't tell you how to, so I didn't know that I could. And all because I'm not using a 6-button controller. I'm using a 3, and on the 6-button controller you have one dedicated button to summon them. But on this controller, the way you do that is by pressing all 3 buttons down at the exact same time, and only then will the hero be summoned. How the fuck was I supposed to know that? But there are some cool cameos in this, like Captain America, Morbius, Cloak and Dagger, as well as Iron Fist. Something I do have to mention though, because I find it pretty funny, the game is called Maximum Carnage, but 90% of the game, you're not fighting Carnage, you're fighting Doppelganger and Shriek. Granted, I know they couldn't have you fight him in every stage of the game, but they should have called this game Maximum Doppelganger or Maximum Shriek. But the way these boss fights work in the game is that you're not just fighting one person, you're fighting 3 or 4 at a time. Usually it's Doppelganger and Shriek, and then there will be like Demo Goblin or Demo Goblin, however you say it, and I think his name is Carrion. And these guys are flying through the air. They're really hard to hit because the perspective of being a beat 'em up, you can't really tell exactly where you're supposed to be standing to jump up and hit him. It's all just a crapshoot, and it's fucking frustrating. And in my opinion, this is what makes the game so difficult, these fucking boss fights, because you're draining your lives just trying to hit these motherfuckers. 2 of them are always flying in the air throwing bombs down at you, and the other is shooting beams at you while the other one's picking you up with his 6 arms and smacking the fuck out of you. Once you get to the final stage, you fight Carnage. Obviously, he's really easy. Just punch him until he dies. But then it's a fake out, and you have to fight Carnage again, and he's still really easy. So, meh. Yeah. Overall, Maximum Carnage is not as fun as I remember. The game is extremely difficult, and mainly because the boss fights are so fucking cancer. Like most beat 'em ups, I find this game to be really repetitive. Normally, I don't really care all that much for beat 'em ups. They're completely fine, and they're a big part of my childhood. But now as an adult, I just want them to end, like when I'm playing them. I want it to be over. I want to get through the levels. I don't want to keep punching shit. It's just a repetitive type of game, and that's, you know, what was of the era back then. The enemies that aren't the bosses are extremely repetitive. They're just recolored skins of, you know, random thugs that have, you know, weird names like Amy or Steve. I beat up Steve today. And there's really no difference between playing Spider-Man or Venom, just the route that they take. So if you want to see different levels, play a different character when they give you the option. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments if you guys played this game growing up, if you have fond memories of it, or if it frustrated the fuck out of you when you were a kid. And that's really gonna do it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and notification bell so you always get notified whenever I upload new content, which is at least once a week, so there's always something to watch. And I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my good buddy Spider-Man for being in this video with me. Go check out his channel, link is in the video description down below or on the end screen momentarily. Give him a sub, show him some love, tell him the Nerd Lair sent ya. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time in the Nerd Lair. Stay nostalgic. I said it. I did it.